Hello, I'm Kads and welcome to today's video. The portal is once again alight, which means it is time to pull some shards. So we're a little bit late. It is Sunday evening here at the time of this recording, but nonetheless, we're getting in our summon rush for the White Queen Ankora fusion. So first things first, let's take a look at the summon rush. And I do have to admit that I was a little bit overly pessimistic for once when it comes to the milestones. Here you can see I did some champion training pre-pulls, so I'm at 193, which is effectively the 150 that we're going to need, but we're also going to be finishing it off with some sacreds. So I thought this was second milestone here is what I'm referring to. I thought this was going to be at the 4100 or 4500 whatever node that's I guess not here in this case, but usually somewhere around down here. And so I thought it was going to be 8 or 9 sacreds to get the extra fragments, but it's only 6 compared to the 4 that we normally have regardless. That's just the box standard amount that we see in fusions nowadays. So usually 2150, but 2250 is effectively the same 100 mystery shards. Not that big of a difference, but 3150 is a lot more enticing. 6 sacreds versus 4 compared to pulling 4 more, get to 8 or something like that. So I know that sounds like small numbers, but extra 2 is a lot more worth it than an extra 4. So anyways, I typically do skip the higher fragments when it comes to fragment summons unless there's some Titan event points or something else above it that makes it a lot better of a deal. But in this case, I do want to minimize the amount of the hero's path that is mandatory when it comes to the fusion. So pulling 2 extra sacreds now to do a little bit less champion training in the future sounds like a good deal to me. So all that to say that we're going to be pulling 6 sacreds today instead of the 4 that I had originally planned. So popping over to the portal, we can see what our current shard count is at the moment. 571 on the ancients, 278 on the voids, 31 on the primals, and then 49 on the sacred shards, and that is where we will be dipping into today. You can also see that there is a progressive chance going on right now, which is one of the few ones remaining that are going to be featuring the Archer Queen. So of course I did pick her, but honestly it's not because she's the best. If there was someone better than I wanted in the pool, then I'd probably go for them, but the other 4, one of them I already have. The fusion, Lady Kimmy I also have, and the other 2 are just not as good as she could be for my account, but I prioritize the champions that I'm looking for more than kind of the exclusive hard to get champions. And the epic, had to pick one. I have both, doesn't really matter, but nonetheless this is a chance to get Archer Queen here, so we'll see if we can get that for ourselves today. But of course we'll do a little bit of a reality check here by taking a look at the mercy tracker here, which will be linked in the description box down below if you want a copy of your own for yourself. But we are at 4 sacreds into mercy since our last pull session for 2 times sacreds. So if we pull 6, we're not going to even enter mercy, meaning that we are not really likely, unless raw odds dictates it, to get a legendary at all. So we're most likely going to be walking away with 6 epics. And quite frankly, that'll be a-okay with me because we are still looking for some Lady Mikage epics because I would like to have her on my account at some point. But if we do happen to get a legendary, I wouldn't mind the Archer Queen, but my real wish list is centered around Valkyrie, Poison Exploder, and Battle Kozara. I'll just name the top 3. Although Martyr is starting to creep up there a little bit with the buff to Faultless Defense, or the rework to Faultless Defense. So for Fire Knight hard, she's going to be one of the best champions, if not the best counterattack champion for that encounter. So she's kind of creeping up the list. I might be looking for her in the near term, but nonetheless, let's get into the shard pulls here. We've got the space, we've got the cash, and hopefully we can get some pretty decent luck. But if all else fails, again, we are looking for Lady Mikage epics. So epic number 1 is Romero, who did get a buff. I think he has a little bit of continuous heal, buff stealing, and then he has a shield that can do something, increase defense, and then a partner ability. But he's better since the buff. But he's not like S tier or anything, so I don't think a lot of people are out there building him and using him. Sacred number 2, epic number 2, most likely, yes, and it is, hey, Captain Tamila. She might be new, or no, I'm thinking of Crimson Home, the one that looks just like her, so this might actually not be new. But I think she's somewhat underrated because she is a really good support unit, increased defense, AoE, on all allies and a heal and ally protection. So if you really need her for faction wars to keep your team alive, she can do some work, but other than that, she does not see much play. Sacred number 3, or epic number 3, we're just going to keep calling them epics. Urtakata, who I think I do have. She's kind of cool. She's one of like the coolest poison champions that doesn't have poison in her kit, if I'm not mistaken. I think, yeah, she has poison sensitivity, and then she has a hex, but her passive comes in is that whenever this champion or an ally lands a crit on an enemy under hex, they can place a poison. So she is quite good when it comes to a poisoner who doesn't actually have poisons in their kit. So sacred number 4, let's keep it moving along the line here. It's going to be another epic, and it is Sanguinia, who is really clutch, or she came in clutch during, I think, rotation 1 of the Cursed City, because she does have this kind of secret cleanse ability here where it'll transfer all debuffs from transfer all debuffs from herself to the target if you have an accuracy to do that, but more importantly, she removes all debuffs from all allies. So she doesn't need to remove it from herself because she's transferring all of them, so she doesn't need to cleanse herself. It reads really weird, but effectively it's a full cleanse of herself and of all allies. And then she also has block debuffs from 1 turn and contingent heal on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. So very solid champion, really helpful in the Cursed City of Centranos in my specific case, but also she's pretty decent support, and she could be definitely a clutch cleanser. The Nether Spider comes to mind if you want to run her for that. Sacred number 5, let's keep it going. The last 2, oh, we got some lag there. I thought we got a legendary there, but no. We got the 25x to proc on Clawed Beastfeeder. Don't really need him, but he is also good. I did use him or rebuild him for the Cursed City. Increase speed, increase accuracy on a 3-turn cooldown, and a pretty decent or sizable shield on the A2. Really good if you build him fast with resistance, so he doesn't take a lot of debuffs and can keep your team running with, again, with the increased speed. But he also has a pretty nice heal on the passive whenever he takes a turn, so having him fast helps him get around to that. So last sacred of the evening, another epic, no doubt, and yes, it is Lady Mikage epic. Ooh, Neldor Rhymeblade. So I forgot to mention that he is on my list of epics and I'm looking for outside of the Mikage fusion, because I did want to make use of his kit in the Fire Knight on hard mode. So this is good. This is very good. So yeah, triple hitter on the A1, kind of like Cryoden in the blue, has a chance to freeze 3-time hitter at random, although Cryoden's I think is 3 hits on a single target, but a similar effect when it comes to the boss, chance to freeze. A 4-hitter that can place decreased attack and decreased accuracy, but most importantly just 4 hits if you want to use them against the Fire Knight shield. And then AoE here that can place decreased speed, again good for Fire Knight, but also just an AoE attack, so we can deal some damage against the waves getting to the Fire Knight on a 4-turn cooldown, which is really, really good. So super solid champion, one of the best for Fire Knight hard. And I almost forgot his passive. Whenever an ally places a freeze, he has a 30% chance to attack the target with a default skill, which again against Fire Knight can mean that he can run back in and place more hits into the shield and or place freezes on the boss. And it does work even if the debuff doesn't land. Specifically, we're talking about Fire Knight hard here. So even if a Newt goes in with A1 and tries to place freeze 3 times, even though it's blocked, it still counts as an attempt to land the freeze, and so he'll still proc the passive and potentially go in there with the A1 and add 3 extra hits. So super solid, super happy with that. But again, all epics as expected. But yeah, I'm happy to walk away with him because he actually might change my account when it comes to progressing in Fire Knight hard. Let's once again double check our math here, go away pop-ups in the Summon Rush and just make sure that we're actually getting to the fragments. Yes, 3100. So fragments are acquired. We'll save the energy for later. And yeah, that's probably going to do it for this video. We're going to keep this one short and sweet as usual, as we like to do with these. There's not much more to talk about and or say. Progressing with the fusion. If you guys are curious how far I've gotten, I'm approaching halfway, 35 on the fragments. And yeah, I don't have any concerns with getting her in the end, but I will take the 10 extra fragments that I didn't plan to get now in terms of her fragment summon event. So I will definitely take that from the Summon Rush. And yeah, so that's going to do it for today's video, guys. As always, if you did enjoy this video, then be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below for more content just like this one in the future. We are still on the road to 1,000 subs on the channel. We have about 60 to go. So thank you to all 900 plus of you that have already subscribed. But if you're one of those few that are just watching, I think 60-70% of you that watch my videos aren't subscribed to the channel. Yes, I'm going to be that guy today. But yeah, if you do enjoy the content truly, then hit the subscribe button for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching and have a good one.